Hi, welcome to Jeremy's Tech Channel, and today we're going to talk about Openshot. My name's Jeremy, this channel's about tech, go figure. And today we're going to talk about Openshot. And Openshot is a non-linear video editor that you can use, and it's completely free, cross-platform, whether you're on Windows, Mac, Linux, it don't care. And that is what makes this such a great program to take a look at today. It came out with a new release a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to check it out and see. My day job, I edit videos for a living, and so I wanted to see if this was something that would be worth my time or someone else, or what's the application going to be used for? Because sometimes video editors are used more for tweaking and professional manipulation, and sometimes it's meant to be simple, get a video cut down and ready to go. And some people like one, some people like another, and we're going to figure out today what that's like. So this was the article that I saw that got me interested in trying Openshot out. I've never used it before. I've used Kdenlive, I've used DaVinci Resolve, I've used programs on other operating systems like Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, but not use this. So this is Openshot 3.2. A couple of major things is they added a new theme, which is nice. They included support for Blender 4.1 and the latest FFmpeg 7.0. So now they introduced new playhead and marker icons for themes, friendly names on the timeline when splitting a video clip is just easier to see. Also, they have improved timeline snapping, split clip functionality, those kinds of things. So I'm like, all right, let's check this out. I went to the website. This has an advantage over a lot of other softwares. Why? Because it's free. That should be noted. It is not easy to create a nonlinear video editor, and they are doing this free for the public to use. Obviously, you can donate and support the project, so if you do like this, you should totally do it. I downloaded an app image. You can get it for OS 10, you can even get it for Chrome OS, Windows, and you can also get the source code there if that's your jam. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open up Openshot. By the way, I'm sweating like crazy. I'm still in Thailand, and I decided to record beautiful outside, but it's hot. I'm also testing a new microphone. We'll see how it goes. If it sounds horrible, I'll do a review on it. If it sounds good, do a review on it. But anyways, trying to work on that. So this is Openshot, and this is the basic setup here. This is the new Cosmic Dust theme. I'll show you how to switch that in just a moment if you're not a fan of this theme. First thing you have to do, it will not open up the project where you left off. You have to open the project that you are wanting to work on. So you'll just go to Open Project, and then I have a test project here that we can go and show what makes this good. You can see I have, this is a test. So really easy to drag things in over here. You just can right click and import a file and find the file you need and pull it in. It's very simple. If I want to pull in this audio, I just click open and there's the audio. No problem there. This pane over here is the properties of whatever you have selected. So if I select this here, then you can see the properties here on the left-hand side. This layout is actually pretty good. Also, you can see that you have layers here. You can also see this progress bar going. Essentially, this is you see that going across, so this is like a proxy render. For a proxy, I have it set to a lower resolution so that I can do this and record at the same time. It still is a little jumpy. It's pretty smooth when you're not trying to record your screen as well. My laptop is a nice laptop. It is an ProArt 16 with a NVIDIA RTX 3060 and a 12th Gen i7 Intel with 32 gigs of RAM. I'm using PopOS, that is a Linux distribution, but if you're coming from another operating system, this should work the same. What I have here is just a simple timeline with some random things that I recorded on my phone with a couple of effects that you can do. What they have is they have integration with Blender, and that's how you can create some of these effects. And it's pretty simple to do, but I wanted to go ahead and show this for you so you can kind of see how this will work, how it works for you. I did want to show you a couple things in the preferences because it really does give a sense of what you're going to be able to do in this program, even within the preferences. If you do want a different theme, you can click it and see there. This looks fairly early 2000s, which is fine in my book. Then they have a retro here, nice, bright, and white. It's kind of hurting my eyes out here, so I will not be doing that. I will go back to this cosmic dark. Then your auto saving, how quick you're going to do it, how you're going to cache things that are being pre-rendered. That kind of like the proxy. They don't call it a proxy, so I'm not exactly sure what they're calling it, but essentially it'll render what you have so that you can watch it if it doesn't do that. And here's why that's important here. You do not have hardware acceleration. It's really just CPU. And if you try to go to hardware acceleration, I have an NVIDIA card, like I mentioned, you click here, it's not working yet. And so that's something to be aware of if you really feel like you need that. And honestly, I feel like I'm missing out on some performance here and some horsepower that this is not providing at this time. But my sense of this and using this is really just let me get a couple of shots put together for a nice video that I want to show for a business, for a corporation, or for home use or presentation. That's what this seems to be. And the fact that this works like it does without hardware acceleration is a testament to their optimization, and I think it's great. One thing to note as well, you see the whole timeline here, and if you want to make it, you can move along here and see that, and you can just preview all, or you can bring this in. It's almost like a zoom in here. Adding markers are simple. Put the playhead where you want it. You add the marker. That's super easy. Like it. It is nice there. Tracks, it won't care whether it's audio or video. You just put whatever you want there. And then, like I said, this is just a bunch of random things that I pulled in, so it will not make sense. I did create the title with the Blender plugin, and essentially you get this window here. You find what you're looking for here, and then you put the text or title where it is, and then it starts to render out each image. So it just goes through each frame and gets it and sets it up, which is nice. You can set the length there. You can, make it essentially slower by using that, and then it will render out the frames there. So then you'll start to click render, and you can start to see the frames are going through, even though you're not seeing a preview at this moment. It goes through and renders this out. I won't bore you watching this render through, but at least you get a sense of how this is going to render and how it works. You have to have Blender on your computer, and then you have to go in the preferences there and point the path to Blender. That is something to be aware of. So I have a couple of examples of that. This also will show you how to pull something in. They also had this really cool map, like for travel, that you could do. I might even just pull it up just to use this nice little template that they have for it. It's super cool.
So obviously this dirty driving runs off a Windows operating system and a blue screen. Pretty funny. I bet these run off of Linux.
Rendering in real time is struggling once again, but there's no hardware acceleration, but it was a smooth transition, and adding transitions are pretty easy. You can add some of these transitions like this and drag it in if you want. You can drag this in and put it where you want it, much smaller, that kind of thing. You can do that. That is easy enough. But you can also take a file, put it over the file with another file, a file within a file, shall we? And you take that and then you put it over. I don't know if you can kind of see, like right now, this is not there, but you kind of, that's locking it in, so it would just go right there. So if you want an actual transition, you kind of drag it over the other file, and then it will automatically add a transition. That's what happened here. So you get a nice, smooth, simple transition. Deleting the file is simple enough, and removing that transition is simple enough. So By the way, this was in Vietnam, okay? This was in some other random thing. So when you're hearing that, it was kind of like Disney World, but definitely nothing like Disney World. I don't know how else to say that, but that's what you're hearing there. And then you see the transition there. And then there's a couple of the things you would want to be able to do if you're dealing with a 16 by 9, a regular 1080p, 720p resolution, 16 by 9 setup, and you're using this vertical video and you need to figure out a way to incorporate it. There isn't a simple and easy setup for this. There isn't like a effect like in DaVinci Resolve that you can just put a blank fill is what they call it. However, you can see here I have two video layers. It's the same video twice over. And what I did is I did an effect. You can click on that here, or you can, like if I go here to the file, you've got this properties over here. This is when this properties tab to the left is important. So when you click here, you can set the blur right here. If you want to make it less of a blur, you can do that. Obviously, you can see I zoomed in the video. And that's how you make that happen. And it's pretty simple. You see, you've got that preview window there. One of the new features is just a simple remove gap. I intentionally added some gap here in this timeline, and you just right click and you hit remove gap, and the gap is gone. It's that simple. That is actually quite nice and useful. Very easy to set up your keyboard shortcuts here. You can see you just add, and they already have a bunch here. Let's say I wanted to quickly just chop off one side of this and just go ahead and delete it. You just hit the D key and it does it, which is actually a really cool setup there. I do like that. You can do the opposite right there. And then if you want to just cut everything in the line exactly where your playhead is, you hit Control K, and then it slices both of them. So it's actually very intuitive with the keyboard shortcuts and what you can do with the playhead, and very simple. I do really appreciate that. You can also easily manipulate files. I've got this picture here, and I added some audio in the back, and you can see it's just kind of zooming away. And this might be considered a plus or a minus. Essentially, where you have the playhead is where things are set. So you can see over here on the properties tab on the left-hand side, you can see here, it's almost like keyframes, but they're not keyframes. They're kind of keeping some of the traditional editing elements as far as some of the lingo that we use. They use slice instead of a blade or cut. They don't have keyframes per se, but wherever you have the playhead and you adjust something, if you look over on the left-hand side, you can see the scale X, Y changing. You see, so it was at 143, and then when it stops again, it doesn't render in real time over there. Then you see that it goes to 1. So let's say I wanted that to go even further. Let's say I wanted to scale this. Let's say like it's going away even further. We'll do that. And now it's going to scale quicker and go even further away. So you can see that there. That's how you can make some of this happen. If I want to add some effects, they have this effects tab over here. They have some audio. So you have some parametric EQ, but it's not normal. So if I put this parametric EQ on here and I select that, although by the way, that is very nice how they do that. That is very simple. I like that. And I want to change a value here. I can deal with the Q factor here. I can deal with which basic frequency I want to adjust. So if I want to adjust the 2K, so 2000, and enter, and I want to add some gain there so that I can make it a little easier to understand what I'm saying. This is probably going to sound pretty honky. And then if I want to make it wider or skinnier, how more frequencies around the 2K, less frequencies around the 2K. So if you just need to just change just that one piece there, you can. And so now I can add that little 2K boost. It's actually
Pretty funny. I bet these run off of Linux.
the parametric EQ is not the best option, but in order for me to adjust different sets of the curve, I have to put down each, like flip the low end off, like just shave off the low end and the high end and boost the middle. I would have to put 3 parametric EQs to handle that, right? And that's not very intuitive. But if you just need to quickly shave off the bottom, it does have this noise reduction here. It works okay. And also it does have distortion and delay. And an echo, so if I add this echo, this will definitely be easy for you to hear on something like this. It's going to render out that little deal.
Pretty funny. I bet these run off of Linux.
Right. So there's that. You can see that little echo there. So they treat even things like captions as an effect. And you have, when you click on the caption here, you have this deal over here, edit this caption with our caption editor. And then you edit it in there. But it doesn't add automatically your captioning like some other programs do, but you can add captions there with that. They call it an effect, and that works perfectly fine. You can track an object, you can do a couple other things, but remember, since there's no hardware effect or hardware acceleration, you're pretty limited on what is going to happen. You know, this is a little wave deal here that you can get render out. So there's the effect.
These run off of Linux.
In one sense, this is super simple the way they have this set up. And in one sense, it's almost cumbersome the way things are set up. Something else to note, if even some of these options here seem to be a little much, you don't want that. You want something simple. They have a simple view, and you click the simple view, and then you've just got the clips here, and you just have your tracks and your files here. So if I want to bring in this file here and set it up here, it's simple, shows you where it is in the timeline, and you're good to go. You can right click and remove a clip, super easy. I preferred the advanced view, but you do have that simple view. They also have their own title that doesn't require Blender to render the files. Some very simple setup here, like this cloud here. So very easy, change the text color. They even have this, preview. They have some pretty great things for you to create something simple. Sorry guys, it's hot out here. Openshot really has a lot of things going for it. And the things that I was struggling with was just because of what I'm used to. I can see a definite flow, a different workflow of being able to do things that was different, and I started to get comfortable with it. And some of the limitations that it has in its current iteration, specifically with hardware acceleration with your graphics card, even your integrated graphics, is a challenge. But what they did is they found some ways to set up with Blender and have that ability, that map, that globe plane ride quickly from one point to the other. You put in the GPS points, you put in the text name, and it renders it out. It's super cool. I may just do that for my own because it was so easy to use. And so they've kind of worked out some things to try to make that work for them. They have a chart on their website talking about what is currently being able to be hardware rendered and what is not. Supposedly with my setup, encoding was able to be used with hardware acceleration, but not decoding. I did not experience that, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't work for you. The ability to just layer over 2 files and it automatically creates a transition, nice, slick thing there. So who is this for? Who could use this and really appreciate it and use it? I think people that are creating videos to upload to their social media channels, videos for family events, corporate videos, You know, you need to get something done quick and easy. You're a small business. You don't have the money to get Adobe Premiere, and you don't really want to learn such an in-depth program like that. Openshot is definitely something you can use. Is this something that I would use in my daily work? Probably not. Actually, not at all, because of the demands that I have. I really need to be able to use something with a lot more horsepower options, even just within the audio section. If you get nice clean audio, like you record in a nice setup or on your phone and you're trying to get some of this stuff, you're going to be set pretty well. There really wasn't any color correction. There was some color overlays and things you could do. So if you're looking to do anything more than simple video overlays and video editing and clip cutting, this may not be for you. You could combine this, you know, edit the video, maybe take the clips, pull the audio in, clean up the audio, and then pull it back and then edit. Or maybe, you know, maybe do some basic cleanup in like Ardour or another DAW that you have. That could work. It really seems to be, this is what we're good at. We're good at giving people a simple, easy way to layer some videos, some A-roll and some B-roll, maybe add a track under it, clip it, put it together, and render it out simply. This seems to be the target audience, and if that's you, you should definitely give it a go, give it a try. It's not gonna cost you anything, and it doesn't matter what platform you're on. Openshot, you should give it a shot. Anyways, thanks for joining me today. Let's continue to do this, and I'll see you next time.